Well, hello, YouTube. I hope everyone is doing well. I thought I would come and shoot a quick video in regards to my COVID vaccination experience. So, like many people, I was very skeptical about this vaccination because it was developed, it was, tested, researched very quickly, quicker than any vaccination ever. But when you think about it, it was a sense of urgency. There were a lot of people who had died from the COVID virus. There were people who had COVID but still had lasting effects a year later, still had issues a year later. I have a couple of family members who contracted COVID 8 months ago, and they are still having issues with breathing, having issues with energy. If they walk too long, they're out of breath. And so we know that even if people don't die from this virus, many still have issues that affect their bodies even a year after contracting the virus. And so we know there was a sense of urgency. What I did was I read information about the vaccination. Some people said, okay, they're changing our DNA. Well, from what I read, none of the vaccinations of the three are changing our DNA. Some people thought it was actually putting the COVID virus into our bodies. That's not true either. And so what we really learned from, research and what researchers have said, is that it really targets the spiker cell in our bodies. And so when our bodies come in contact with the virus, those who are fully vaccinated, your body remembers, like, wait a minute, this is something that shouldn't be here. I remember this, and I need to attack. Okay, and so basically, our body builds up antibodies to the COVID virus, and so it's not as bad. It's kind of just like the flu shot. When we get the flu shot, some people still get the flu, but our bodies fight it better, or we don't get as sick because our bodies have built those antibodies and we have something to attack it. And so that's what these vaccinations do. It helps build memory of like fighters against the COVID virus in our bodies. And so if we come in contact with it, we don't get as sick. And so what they're advertising is you won't die, right? We do know at this point that the immunities right now are lasting to about 6 months. That's what researchers have been able to gather at this point. Hopefully, they will find that it's longer than 6 months, hopefully a year, like with the flu vaccination. And I'm really hoping if we have to get a booster for the vaccination, it's not 2 doses, that is just the one like we do with the flu shot. But we will see. And so I definitely shout out to all the researchers, to all the doctors, and to all those who participated in trials to get us to this point. I am definitely grateful to you. So I did get the Moderna vaccination. We know we have Moderna, we have Pfizer, and we have Johnson & Johnson that's out now. Johnson & Johnson is only 1 dose, which people like that aspect of it. But with Pfizer, you get 1 dose, and then 21 days later, you get your second dose. With Moderna, you get your first dose, and then you get your second dose 28 days later. So that's what I had to do. I got my first vaccination on March 5th. And I went in the evening to the local technical school here in Wisconsin. I was eligible because I work at a university, so that was pretty cool. I didn't want to take anybody's place or like skip ahead. I really wanted our K-12 teachers to get vaccinated. Of course, all our healthcare workers and those who are out, having to be in the public to do their jobs and to help and serve and protect us and provide services for us. But I was on the list. It was my turn. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go for this. So I went out to the local technical school, got my first vaccination one evening, and I was told by a couple of people who had the vaccination before me to take, like pain reliever and fever reducer. They said take it before you go. So when I came back from getting my vaccination, I took 2 of these. These are 500 milligram dollar store brand pain reliever and fever reducer. So I took 2 of these when I came back from getting my vaccination. And I think I ate some dinner and, it's kind of went on with my evening. So maybe around 11 o'clock that evening, my arm started to throb. So when I actually got the injection in my arm, it didn't hurt at all. I didn't feel nothing. But again, about 11 o'clock that night, I started having, throbbing pain in my arm. I'm like, okay, so the pain is starting. So I took 2 more of these, 2 more pain relievers, fever reducers that are 500 milligrams. So I took 2 more. And, pretty much laid back down. My arm was sore the next day, the whole day, but not like really bad. So I didn't take any more painkillers. And then the day after, I was completely fine. Didn't even know I had a vaccination. So that was an experience of my first dose of the vaccination. So my concern was with the second dose because that's where a lot of people tend to have the side effects. And I believe people have more side effects with the Moderna vaccination than they do the Pfizer. And I think they're saying that people have very little side effects from Johnson and Johnson. So I took what was given, what was provided to me. So I pretty much took what was available, which was the Moderna. And so I knew that I would have possible side effects the second vaccination. And so I was very leery about it, but it is what it is. So I got my second dose on 28 days later. So it was like April 2nd. And one thing particular about that day was I actually returned home from Hawaii that same day. So I got home from Hawaii at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and my second dose appointment was at 5 p.m. And I was really afraid I would come home and go to sleep and not wake up because I hadn't had much sleep because I've been traveling. And I said, so I really, started doing some things around the house. I went and ran some errands in the city where I had to get my vaccination, which is about an hour from where I live. And so I actually said, I'm just going to go early and see if they'd take me early. So I went about 12:30 back to the technical school to get my second dose. And no questions asked, they took me early. So I was excited about that so I can get home and like get settled and get some sleep because I was so tired. Got my second dose. I came home, took 2 more painkillers, and I, had some dinner, just kind of like relaxed and dozed off because I was very tired. So by the time I dozed off, it would have been about 7 o'clock at night. At 2 a.m. Saturday morning, because I got the vaccination on a Friday afternoon. So at 2 o'clock Saturday morning, I woke up, my whole body was shivering. My body was shivering. My teeth was chattering. I'm like, I am so cold. So this was what was going on at 2 o'clock in the morning. And at this point, my arms started hurting as well, kind of like that same throbbing pain I had the first time. So I got up and took 2 more painkillers, fever reducers. I took those and got back into bed. I woke up around 8 or 9 o'clock Saturday morning and my whole body was aching. So I wasn't shaking anymore, but my whole body was aching. And every time I got out the bed Saturday, I had a headache every single time. So I was able to get up to use the bathroom, to take my dog, let my dog out to use the bathroom, but I couldn't do anything else. So I get up, use the bathroom, get back into bed because my head hurt so bad. My whole body ached, and I had a low-grade fever. So this is what happened all of Saturday. And I didn't eat anything until like 9 o'clock that night. I ordered a pizza and ate about 9 o'clock. I did drink tea. I think that morning I had like a little bit of tea just to get something in my system, and I drank water. By Sunday, I was good. My arm was just a little bit sore. I didn't have any body aches. I didn't have a fever. I wasn't shivering. And I felt pretty good Sunday. I was able to get up, go out, enjoy the 70-some degree weather, walk my dog, went to the park. I was able to cook dinner, breakfast. So everything was all good. So that was my experience with the COVID vaccination.